I got into this business because of my fiance bringing me into it. I always had an interest in art, and he kind of pointed it out that I may as well just put it on skin if I'm going to sit there and do it on paper all the time.
I became a tattoo artist when I got my first tattoo. I went into a tattoo shop. At the time I lived in Hawaii, so I decided I was going to get a tattoo. And I went in and got it. By the time the guy was done and I paid for it, I realized I could have done a better job myself left-handed in a mirror and paid way less money.
So starting up a business was extremely stressful, especially working with the health department. You have to apply for all of your licenses for each artist. You have to apply for a license to actually own the studio. And then you have to pass your CPR, bloodborne pathogens, and first aid.
The differences would be being an artist versus being an owner. I'd never been an owner before. I always worked for someone else. So it was a lot different to just show up to work, do what you're supposed to do, and go home. I don't have to worry about needles or inventory or electric bills or paying the rent, licensing fee. None of that. You don't have to worry about that unless you own the shop. So when I opened my first tattoo shop, I do believe it was like 2017, 2018. When I had the vision for the shop, I've worked in 3 or 4 other shops prior to this. So when I opened my shop, I didn't want it to look like a tattoo shop. I didn't want you to come in and see just a flash that you could pick up off the wall, something that somebody else had. So the tattoo shop looked like a giant arcade or a toy store more than anything else. It didn't have anything tattoo related in it. The tattoo shops that I worked in the past were already established shops. They had names, they'd been around for a decade or longer. One shop I worked in was in for 35 years. It wasn't like I had to work hard to get people to come in the door. Also, when we opened our first tattoo shop, it wasn't on a main street. It was upstairs, an office area, a small office area. So from the street, you would never get a walk-in client. So that was one thing that was different, was I went from a walk-in store, open shop that was always, open to the public eye, to we were basically hidden. You had to find us or know who we were. And that was a little slower in the beginning.
So before the pandemic hit, it was definitely a lot better. There was more people coming in, getting tattooed. They had money to spend, and then the pandemic hit. So during the pandemic, we lost a lot of money due to being closed for the 2 months. So it was extremely hard to keep this place afloat. We did have a little bit of a cushion. We had to use all of our tax dollars to prepay our rents to make for sure that we were going to make it through these 2 months. We just went ahead and paid all the bills up and hoped for the best. So for our precautions during the pandemic, we had to order a bunch of masks and keep those on hand. We had to definitely wash our hands a lot more. We kept hand sanitizer in almost every corner of the shop, make sure people hopefully would use it. And we only would allow one person to come in and get tattooed at a time, so that way there wouldn't be any extra spread of the virus. We kept the doors locked, had a phone number on the door, so that way they could call if they needed anything. It was definitely affected quite a deal. A lot of people didn't have the money that they had before, and a lot of people didn't want to come out in public at all. We lost a bunch of customers to COVID, so it definitely affected the whole industry pretty bad. It's definitely not as great as it was before. I would say it's definitely got its ups and downs for sure, but it used to be steady, and now we've got a lot more downtime. Okay, so whenever we first started this business, we started in a little tiny 2-3 room building area. So it was a lot smaller. We didn't have space to do our events or any of that. And then we kind of branched out and got a bigger space, and then we were able to hire more people. So now we have 3 artists, me, Brian, Jacob, and we have an apprentice, and that's Peyton. So we've got enough space to have all of that. And then Brian also has a full toy store now, and then he's opened up a music store. So we definitely have branched out, and he's got all kinds of little ventures going. So that's going well, at least. I'm hoping in the future we at least we can get back to pre-COVID days where it was busier. Hopefully we'll have more traffic. Hopefully it'll just keep getting busier. I think that's all we need at this point.